Coming up today on Eagle Eyes on Tech, Windows is killing SSDs, 4chan and Kiwi Farms are both suing the UK government. YouTube is suppressing videos, all thanks to the wonderful power of AI's whim. How fantastic. The PS5 is now a significantly worse value, and people are challenging the Taco Bell drive-thru AI. All that and more coming up today on Eagle Eyes on Tech. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or it's 2 a.m. Good morning, this is Eagle Eyes on Tech. I am Eagle Falcon. We're back from a unexpected hiatus. I'm going to save everyone the details of what happened, but basically, a lot of health stuff. a lot of health stuff, health scares, mental health, all that sort of thing. Some involuntary time off was needed, but I am back at the grind set. And we're going to dive right back in. We got a lot to cover, very little time to cover it. So we're going to go ahead and do everything we can. I want to start off, though, with something that's not exactly a real tech story. But one thing that is actually kind of important around here in the studio, we finally have to go ahead and actually build a streaming rig. Like, we finally have to go through and actually pull the trigger, because the Windows 10 end of life cutoff is coming very, very soon. And we need to get out of the current rig we're in as well, because it's also showing other signs of degradation. And like the workstation is like over a decade old. All right. Like if it's much older, it could probably drink. So I got to go ahead, and I'm actually finally going ahead and, pick out the parts. Let me tell you something. I really wanted to go with this specific motherboard here. And I know this sounds like this is going nowhere. Trust me, this is going somewhere. All right. This specific motherboard is the Gigabyte X870 Eagle Wi-Fi 7 AMD AM5, etc., etc., etc. The main reason why I was willing to pick this board is because A, it's within my budget for what I want to do with the computer. And B, it has my name on it. So this seemed like a win-win, right? You just go ahead, it has my streamer name on it. It'd be kind of cool to go ahead and have the rig that you do all your streamer work on have your streamer name on it. By accident. Good pick, right? Let's talk for a minute about PCI Express lanes. Every CPU and its chipset support an amount of I/O that we basically just refer to as PCI Express lanes. Your GPU uses 16 lanes. You normally have about 30 or 40 on a standard CPU. You could have something upwards of like 512 lanes on like a Threadripper and other insane processors that are way out of my budget, though I want to get my hands on. But the point is that for a streaming rig or a studio rig, you have more than just a GPU that needs to use these slots. You have other peripherals. First off, you need your storage. Most storage now is what's referred to as NVMe, which also takes up roughly 2 PCI Express lanes. In addition, for my studio, we also have a capture card that needs a 4X slot, and I also have a USB card because the computer I'm currently using does not have enough USB ports. And sure enough, the Eagle motherboard also does not have enough USB ports. It only has 8 plus the 2 USB-Cs that would have to be converted into something useful. So I need to use one of my USB cards. That's no big deal. Here's what is a big deal. If you were to look at the motherboard, you'd say, well, my needs are set, because you see one full-length PCI Express 16X slot at the top. You see 3 NVMe slots. Okay, that's fine. And you see 2 more what appear to be PCI Express 16X slots. All right, you have 3 full-length PCI Express slots. You're all set. What's the problem, Eagle? Look closely here. those two slots at the bottom are missing pins. The physical slot is 16x, but it's wired as a 1x. My capture card is not compatible with this motherboard. And so you might be thinking, well, that's obviously because you're using a lower end chipset. It's not. It's using the X870 chipset, the second highest one available for AMD, and supports full PCI Express bandwidth. There's just like a few small features that don't matter. This was a conscious choice by Gigabyte to do this. There's no way to fix this because the board's just made to just be missing slots. Okay, so what's the deal? Why would Gigabyte do this? Oh, I hope you're ready for this. The reason is because of AI. Because this one for $200, it's a decent deal. There's also one for $800 from their Aurora series that is marketed as the Aurora Extreme AI Top AMD AM5 etc EATX motherboard. This board does have the full pinout specifically because it's marketed to, quote, train your own AI on your desk. So Gigabyte has gone ahead, put out the full number of pins on this motherboard, and also added some additional colors and an infinity mirror and a whole lot of little cool doohickeys to make it look fancier, for the sole purpose of charging a 400% markup for the sole purpose of AI. Well, good job, Gigabyte. Now instead of getting $200 of my money, you're now getting $0 of my money. I have gone with a different manufacturer because screw that. I gotta warn you, I didn't realize it was this bad. I knew it was kind of bad with companies going way over the top for these horrendously priced motherboards. I'll tell you what, if I could afford an $800 motherboard, I would not be going with an AM5 platform. I'd go Threadripper. In fact, here's a hard argument for you. If I was training AI on my desk, I wouldn't go AM5 at all. I'd go lowest end Threadripper, so I got way more PCI Express lanes to play with. So no, this is gross. I just in case, I just want to say this is disgusting. Now, am I saying that you should go ahead and avoid Gigabyte at all costs? I'm not saying that. Maybe for your build, you know, you only want the graphics card. You don't care about a 4K capable capture card or adding more USB ports because you got gizmos and gadgets to the wazoo and all that sort of jazz. Maybe you don't really care about all that. And maybe the $200 motherboard from Gigabyte's a good buy for you. By all means, do it. I'm not your real dad. You go ahead and do what you want. What I am saying, keep a very close eye on these manufacturers. Because I'll tell you what, you look up the information for this motherboard, they do not admit that those bottom two slots are only wired as 1x. The only clue is the fact you can physically see the pins in the Amazon listing picture, and the fact in very small print above them, it says PCIe X1. Be very cautious when planning out your builds, because you never know when stuff like that pops up. But in any case, let's actually get to real tech news now that we wasted 10 precious minutes of our record time talking about a motherboard. Someone in chat asked, do I have any RAM recommendations? The correct one. I know that sounds like a very lazy cop-out, but the correct RAM to get is the one that's compatible with your CPU. Fastest RAM you can, that is still supported by the CPU. Like getting through, you mean capacity. 32 minimum. If you're building a brand new rig, 32 gigs minimum. 16 gigs right now will probably be fine. But if you're building new, just get 32 gigs as a bare minimum. and just know that you're going to be set for a while. But in case, we need to get to the far, 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 far more important topics. We've been gone for 3 weeks. All right? We've been gone for 3 weeks. We need to cover the most important news. And that is the fact that Instagram has finally launched an iPad app. I can't believe it. After it's been 12 years since the iPad got mainstream adoption. And finally, the lizard population in command of Facebook finally launched an Instagram dedicated app for the iPad. Just in time for its popularity to still just kind of slowly drift off as more and more people just kind of feel meh about Instagram. Like, Instagram is not growing a whole lot, but the people on it are hopelessly addicted. They care so much about that Instagram clout and all the nothing it does for them. It's incredible. Meanwhile, though, actual important news. This one is actually serious. The latest Windows 11 update, 24H2, may in fact break your SSDs and corrupt your data. The article headline here says your HDDs, we already know it doesn't corrupt your HDDs. Only very specific SSDs. Here's what goes down. So the update from Microsoft for Windows 11 does something that nobody is still sure of, that makes very specific SSD controllers just forget how to function. And it is specifically the Phison NAND controllers that are having this problem. Now, this article we're using is old. It's suggesting that it only happens when writing large amounts of data. We now know that's bunk. It can be a small amount of data. It can be a large amount of data. It can be reading data. It can be writing data. It does not matter. If you have this Windows update and you use an SSD with a Phison controller, you are at risk anytime you read and write to it, although a very low chance, of corrupting all data on the drive. What's even better, by the way, this news was discovered, of course we're late on this. This news was discovered on the 17th of August. It is now the 7th of September. Microsoft has issued no fix yet. And the best part is, even experts aren't sure why this is happening, only that it is. It is a real thing that is really happening, and no one for sure knows why it is happening. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that great? Isn't that great to hear from a guy who is currently working on building his own computer for the first time in years? Just to hear, oh, hey, by the way, your operating system you're switching to may torch your primary source of storage and ruin it. Cool. So yeah, that's a problem that's still around. Now, there's a list going around of various manufacturers that are for sure affected by this thing, but nobody knows for certain which ones do and don't do it. We just know that it's related to Phison controllers. Because it's such a low chance of happening, it could affect many others. We just don't know yet. Isn't that fun? It's like gambling. Every time you use your computer, you could just lose everything. In other more global news, China is urging all of their firms to stop buying NVIDIA chips. They're not listening. Because here's the funny thing, right? China does make their own chips. They're not the best quality, but they do make their own chips. The NVIDIA ones are so much better at what these AI companies want to do that it just takes what China has and just blows them out of the water. This is basically the equivalent of the government trying to tell you to use a bicycle to go to work, but you already have a car. You're not going to listen unless you're, in a congested city and other such things that prevent you from using a car. Okay, maybe that was a bad example. But still, it's just kind of funny to see that, yeah, AI is hopelessly addicted on NVIDIA. So if you're hoping the NVIDIA stranglehold on the GPU market and on the AI market was ever going to lessen, I've got bad news. It's not. It still isn't. In other AI news, because AI is flawless and never has any problems, AI has a flaw. Elon Musk's XAI, or also known as Grok, it turned out that pretty much every single conversation ever, with very few exceptions, were accessible publicly. All you had to do was Google it. Every single conversation that was thought to be in private was not. It's publicly available. Wonderful. This is the world we live in. All you could do is look at this and just shake your head. First OpenAI, now Grok. How many other AIs just turn out they have been going through and just had all your conversations just available for all to read, like an open book? They were just always there forever. Smooth. Very, very smooth. Meanwhile, though, in other news involving the internet, 4chan and Kiwi Farms have both filed suit against the United Kingdom over their age verification laws, saying that your age verification laws put an undue burden on us that you are trying to go ahead and circumvent US standards. I hate to break it to you, UK. You know you messed up. All right? You messed up. You've gone ahead and you have the entire internet rooting for Kiwi Farms. Do you have any idea how messed up that is? That the majority of the internet is now rooting for freaking Kiwi Farms. You thought 4chan was bad? Oh, you foolish fool. You have no idea the amount of absolute horrendous degeneracy that occurs on Kiwi Farms. Kiwi Farms makes 4chan look like a group of saints. And now they're both teaming up with their team of lawyers to sue the UK, saying that their Online Safety Act has no jurisdiction here in the US at all. And the worst part is, I agree. You have me rooting for 4chan and Kiwi Farms. We are definitely going to be following this one as it advances, but yeah, you are in the timeline where you're rooting for the hateful board Kiwi Farms. I can't even. I just can't. You know what else I can't? I can't believe that this is how the Google ruling ends. Google was found by the DOJ to be a monopoly. The sentence has come down as to how the monopoly will be broken up. The answer is that literally nothing will happen. The Department of Justice took Google to court, got it confirmed that Google is an illegal monopoly, and the same judge that ruled that Google is an illegal monopoly said that they're not going to do anything because it would be detrimental to the advancements of the national interests of AI. What? The next time you wonder if big companies going to get punished, if anyone's going to do anything about these mega corporations stepping out of bounds, I'm going to refer you back to this, because this was a perfect opportunity for both the DOJ and the department and this judge, the courts, the entire governmental system to say, all right, we have teeth. And they proved, no, they don't. They're a little puppy going arf, arf. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. There's just no other way to look at that. Now, before we go to break, I want to just give you this single headline, which may in fact be the stupidest thing this administration has said so far. From current President Trump, AI generated content is a little bit scary. No f***ing shit. I could have told you this and did tell you this. Hell, almost right from the inception of AI. Everyone has been saying this. It is why the general consent of the consumer is that nobody wants this. Because it is, in fact, so bloody dangerous. But no. Now, only now we're going to realize, oh, wow, AI is scary. Good job. Good job. A+ number 1. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break here. When we come back, I want to talk about the various features of Android that are coming out. We need some positive news. Come on, let's get some positive news. Yay, positive news. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. Good update from the world of Android. I know it's been a while since we had some good news from Android, right? Your Android phones may now support sharing audio with multiple headphones. Now, I can already hear the boomers out there. Back in my day, we just had a Y splitter that we plugged into a headphone jack. That was an ancient giant hole in your computer back in the day. And then you'd plug 2 sets of headphones into the splitter, and you'd get the audio to both people that way. It was a simpler time that only cost us $5. That's cute, Grandpa. However, we no longer have an open wound in our phones called headphone jacks anymore. Deal with it. Someone in chat asked, we're not getting headphone jacks back. No, we're not. You lost. Too many people bought freaking wireless beans and thought that was better because no wires. This is everyone else's problem now. You all supported wireless headphones. This is the horrible feature you have wrought. I take no responsibility in this. I just accept that this is my world now. Deal with it. But now you can go ahead and split them into the phone. No, your phone doesn't have a jack. Stop lying. Two people in chat say their phones have headphone jacks. It's because your phones are ancient. The worst part is, I would say, hey, old low-end phones still have headphone jacks at least. They're starting to lose them. More and more and more budget phones are losing headphone jacks. You're losing this war. There's nothing you can do about it. You're doomed. Well. It's a shame too. My car has an aux jack. Someone asked, the headphone jack messing up some updates or something? Oh no, the answer is obvious. There's 2 things that getting rid of the headphone jack does. 1, it eliminates a point of ingress for water. And 2, the far more oddly convenient reason is that just about every phone manufacturer also ironically sells their own rather expensive wireless headphones. They're in the form of very small, discrete devices you insert into your ears that are very easy to lose. So having no headphone jack just conveniently pushes you in that direction. Isn't that great? Now that is one thing to point out though. There are USB-C to headphone jack converters out there. And honestly, I would just invest in that, to be perfectly honest. Because it's only going to be a matter of time till that headphone jack is gone. You're going to smash your screen, and you're going to be in the same boat as the rest of us with no headphone jack. If you really, really need that headphone jack, USB-C to 3.5 audio, to 3.5 headphone, it's going to be a good way to go. Alternatively, I have seen, if you have like a set of headphones you really like, I do know there are devices that will connect via Bluetooth, and then that will have your headphone jack. I used one of those for a while, and then my last set of wired headphones died. So I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, this feature lets you go ahead, connect multiple sets of Bluetooth headphones and be able to share audio that way, which honestly, not bad at all. All in favor of it. Now, unfortunately, with the good, I have to also introduce the bad. Now, I do want to quickly make a very quick footnote. Google has allegedly launched the hype feature that lets you, the YouTube user, hype up certain videos and increase its exposure. I can't find this. I literally can't find this feature. Now, YouTube also recently had a redesign that's fantastic. Why do you ask? I'm not weirded out by it at all. So maybe hype has gone away in favor of this redesign, but allegedly it's out. I don't know if it's going to be good or not. But here's the real thing everyone is talking about on YouTube. And that is this feature that's on by default called restricted mode. This was kind of quietly rolled out recently on YouTube. And if you've heard some YouTube creators out there going, man, some of my videos have just gotten almost no views, this is why. Let's break this down. So here's restricted mode. What it's supposed to be is that it's supposed to be using the power of Google's AI. It goes ahead and automatically, when enabled, filters out overtly offensive videos that you may not want to see. Are you starting to see a problem yet? The point of this is to try and filter out anything grotesque or excessively profane or anything of that nature. However, YouTubers like the moderately British Josh Strife Hayes has pointed out that the videos it seems to block out are arbitrary and random. There appears to be no correlation between what is and isn't disabled. And here's the best part. You, as the YouTube creator, have no idea what would or wouldn't be disabled in restricted mode. And a little bit behind the scenes, if you don't know, YouTubers have to go ahead and mark down whether their video is made for children and if the video may have profanity in it and many other different checks they have to go through. All of these videos that Josh Strife Hayes has put up have the exact same checklist put on because he is very consistent in the kind of stuff he puts on. It is videos reviewing video games with a very British snark to it and giving his honest opinion. He's not excessively swearing or anything of that nature. The thing is that this restrictive mode is on by default. Now, when I went to check on this, mine was off. It's also quite possible that when I'm going through and checking my YouTube settings for very minor things, I see a thing that's called restricted mode, and my first instinct is to turn it off and say, give me all the power, not knowing whatever the heck restricted mode actually is. But many users are finding out that this is on by default. It is possible other people in the chat are also saying that it's off by default. It may also be on or off by default based on information in your account. That is also a very distinct possibility. So, yeah, I mean, turn it off. This thing doesn't seem to do anything. It doesn't seem to protect anyone. All it's doing is just making it so that you don't see your creator's videos at all. So, yeah, no, turn restricted mode off. It is actively hurting YouTubers out there by having them go ahead and just put stuff out and then maybe by the grace of flipping a coin, having it stick. God, could you imagine spending hundreds of dollars on a YouTube video, mostly in editor labor, only to have it get no views because restricted mode decided, nope, not allowed. By the by, I completely forgot to go ahead and get this when I did my prep, but there's also a very interesting viewer purge going on over on Twitch as well. They are seeing their lowest viewers ever on the website, and it's all thanks to finally implementing a bot purge. And a lot of people are finding out, wow, there's a lot of companies going ahead and view botting streamers that they're sponsoring, or a lot of streamers that are just view botting themselves, or other people that think they're helping streamers out by view botting them, you know, only for that to not really help at all. And you think that last one is insane. No one would actually do that. I had that happen to me. I had that happen where, like, one day I had, like, you know, only 8 viewers. That is not uncommon for me. I don't actively try to go out and try to, like, very, very actively get on the streamer grind set. But I only had like 8 viewers. All of a sudden, slowly and steadily, viewers started coming in, one after another after another. And eventually I was popping off at about 200 viewers after about 45 minutes of growing. And I wasn't sure what that was going on. There was a lot of people asking, hey, how you doing? What game is this? Like, a lot of, like, various names, just, like, asking around, asking questions about the stream. And I was answering them, having a good time and everything. Then right as out to close up stream, they're all gone. And we're back down to 8 in an instant. Because one rando found my stream, thought I was a cool guy, and thought he'd help me out by view botting me. By the way, don't do that. Don't do that. It actually hurts more than anything. But yeah, it said that roughly 15% of Twitch's views were from view bots that ceased to function a few weeks ago. That has since been restored because, of course, view botters want to go ahead and sell all their stuff to their services to people, so they find ways around it. And also, I want to point this out too. Dan Clancy, who, by the way, needs to retire and needs to step down as CEO of Twitch, also said that view bots aren't a problem at the top, but it's mostly small streamers that abuse the view bots. That was a lie. Some of the larger streamers had their view count drop by almost half. That's how bad it was. Whoops. Only the small streamers, by the way. Only the little guys like me. We're the only ones doing the view botting, right? I want to stress again that Dan Clancy is a clown and needs to step down. This is all you can do is shake your head on it. And also, in other Android news, because of course there's more Android news, Google is now requiring developer verification for Android apps outside the Play Store. Okay, well, Google requires verification for ones in the App Store. They just want to make sure that ones that go into other app stores are also verified by Google to make sure that no one is selling malware on other app stores, right? We'll get to that in a second. Someone in chat asked, do lurkers count as bots until they chat? So, a lot of people have been claiming lurkers do not count as viewers with this new change. That has been a long-running rumor since this new thing started. I have seen evidence to prove it, and I've seen evidence to disprove it. Like, I can already tell you right now, just in our small sample set, we only have a handful of people chatting, and the number of people viewing is higher than the number of people chatting. I'm just saying. There is definitely something's not adding up there. All right? There's definitely something missing there. All right. But what does this mean for Google? Google's saying they're requiring developer verification for Android apps outside the Play Store. You know what it means? It means no more sideloading. Oh, you can still sideload on Android. It's just that it has to meet the gold stamp of Google. I try to avoid swearing on this podcast, but you. This is one of the big selling points of Android. I can't stress this enough. Heck, the freaking software to use my gimbal had to be sideloaded. It was not something that was approved by the Play Store. So I had to sideload it. I have several freaking emulators on my phone that had to be sideloaded. But now you're going to tell me that any sort of software I want to put on for my own personal use that isn't for mass freaking distributing freaking piracy or any of that bullshit, now it all has to be approved by Google. So here, I'll ask the question that everyone's thinking. I'll go ahead and ask it. Why the would you pick Android? If you're going to go ahead and just make yourselves a completely locked down freaking ecosystem, if you're going to go ahead, take away every little bit of control the user had, and you're just going to go ahead and be a more unstable version of the freaking iPhone, why the heck wouldn't I just get an iPhone? I mean, heck, already your phones are already priced up as high as iPhones. No, Eagle, you don't understand. At the lower end, the Android phones are cheaper. Cool. You've got me there. The ultra budget phones are a little bit cheaper than a used iPhone. Even though for $50 more, the used iPhone is going to outperform the budget Android phone. And the best part is, because Android went ahead and decided to drink from the wireless headphone Kool-Aid and sell more of those than actual phones with headphone jacks, you know what you're also going to get? No headphone jack on both the iPhone and the Android. Like, I don't even sideload all that often, but this pisses me off. Like, you thought for a minute that the big problem for me was going to be the freaking was trying to avoid talking about Chromebooks. Oh, no. This is the thing that actually ticks me off more. This is quite honestly the worst change made to Android. And like I said, I'll be blunt. I legitimately do not see a reason, unless you're just already in like a wireless ecosystem that supports Android very well. If you're looking to like get in to like a good ecosystem, I don't know why you wouldn't pick Apple. It's more stable. It runs smoother. The one big benefit Android has, we see that sliding away more and more year after year. The customization and the openness on iPhone increases year over year, and Google goes the other direction. I kind of half jokingly said this way back when most of the Android phones were now being primarily focused on being all pro AI, that phones are just becoming more and more, are just getting worse and worse and worse year over year over year. Now they are! I guess this now means, though, if I want to go ahead and have a good travel kit, I should also make sure I have some emulators installed on my Steam Deck and carry that with me too. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, I want to talk more about some of the hardware that has come out over the past couple of days. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome back, Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. All right, first off, Samsung had an event that I completely forgot about, and you did too, let's be honest. They announced the Tab S11, an Android tablet that is thinner, lighter, and uncut. I mean, wait a minute. It's just thinner and lighter. And the Galaxy S25 FE, or Fan Edition. And apparently the fans deserve plastic bezels and a worse processor and less RAM at a lower price. I mean, they are what they are, honestly. I'll be honest. I always felt that the Galaxy FEs have been a scam, because they cut down significantly on the phone, and this one is no exception. And all they do is have you save $50. Like, these have always felt like a ripoff to me, and this one is no exception. So there's that exists now. Deal with it. In the meantime, though, The Pixel 10 now exists. These are phones that are AI. Well, AI can AI and then be powered by AI and use AI to AI with the cameras and AI, and is powered by an AI that is at the core of the SoC, which is actually powered by AI. That's about how the presentation went. You're not going to fact check me on that. You know I'm right. Anyway, Pixel 10 starts at $800. There are new earbuds as well. There is also a Pixel 10 Pro and Pro XL. These include more AI, which can AI, and then along with that can use the power of AI and the light and the depth sensing camera to detect motion and help using the power of AI to take better pictures with AI. That starts at $1,000 for the 6.3 model, and the XL starts at $1,200. And then finally, of course, we have the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, an AI that folds in half for $1,800. Has me repeating the words letters A and I over and over again compelled you to get these phones? Do you feel compelled? Using the power of AI to AI harder than AI has ever AI'd? Are you compelled? No. Then why the heck do they think it's gonna work? You want to know what's really going to sell these phones? I'll tell you what's going to sell these phones. Spoiler, it's not the AI. What's going to really sell these phones? It's the new one. I guarantee you no one is going to buy these phones because of its AI features. They're going to buy it because it's the new one and their old one is old. Someone in chat asked, would YouTube sell them? You know, considering the fact that tech YouTube is about as AI fatigued as I am and the rest of the world, I don't think they would. I don't see a whole lot of tech YouTubers out there going ahead and making a compelling argument as to why the... specifically the YouTube app. Would the YouTube app sell? No. They might try to, on like ads, sell the Pixel 10. Because of course Google will buy their own ad space to sell these things. That's not uncommon. No, that's not. What do you mean then? No, YouTube's not gonna. Like, are you saying is YouTube directly? What? I don't understand the question. I'm gonna move on. Just move on to the. All right. Could not accessing the app on the old phone sell the new one? If YouTube dropped support for like any of the previous models without a damn good explanation just to try and sell the new ones, they're not going to sell new phones. They're going to buy new lawyers because they're going to be sued. It is about as anti-competitive as can be. There's no way that would fly. By the by, we now have a date for the ROG Xbox Ally. It is October 16th. We currently do not have prices, I believe. But we do know that the official Xbox Steam Deck competitor will be out October 16th. Will it be good? Will it be worthwhile? I doubt it. Someone asked, how old does a phone have to be for YouTube and Twitch not to work? God, it'd have to be really old. Like really, really old. Like, okay. There would have to be like an announcement saying they're dropping like support of but you're talking 8 years old is like my rough guess for how old a phone would have to be to lose support of YouTube. So if that's like your primary concern, you got plenty of time. Plenty of time. Also, in other news, and keep in mind, that's like a rough estimate. Like, don't hold me to quote, like, Eagle said, I have 8 years on this phone. That's a rough estimate. Like, it doesn't take much to run YouTube. So it would take a while, especially at the growth rate of performance on ARM-based processors, for an older phone to lose support. And guys, we got specs on the Legion Go 2 from Lenovo. The updated version of the Legion Go is it's okay. That's pretty much it. It's using the new It's using the new Ryzen Z2 Extreme processor. Nothing too out of the ordinary. The big news here is that it's going to be released in October 2025 and sell for $1,050. What the frick? You want to know what's going to kill these Steam Deck competitors? That price. I can get 2 Steam Decks for that price. Two. That's crazy. Also, by the way, you're running Windows 11, so we're losing performance there too. Good job. So yeah, Legion 2 Go, not too enthusiastic. By the way, from the rumor category, we're not going to spend too much time on this, but on the rumor category, we are seeing that the next PlayStation 6 may be a portable. I'm just going to put this out there. It's not. It's not. Do you have any idea how much Sony is going to be made fun of if the PlayStation 6 is a hybrid console? That means it's going to have half the performance of the PS5 and be one of the 2 consoles people look at for performance. There's no way. Now, will they make a version of will they make a PlayStation Go? A PlayStation Portable and make it Switch-like? That's possible. But the actual headline Halo product of the PlayStation category, the PlayStation 6, no. There's no way. Major doubts. But also in other news, Sony decided to increase the price of the PlayStation. The PS5 is now $550 here in the US, $500 for the digital edition, and $750 for the PS5 Pro. The price has gone up by $50 across the board. And by the way, for bonus points, the PS5 digital edition now has a smaller SSD. I get that the economic situation is bad. I get that tariffs are bad. By the way, I don't buy that the PS price is going up because of tariffs, because they increased the price on the EU and the UK before they did it to the US. So this looks more about filling a bottom line than it is about tariffs. Caught you this time, Sony. But then to also go ahead, take the digital edition and make the SSD the thing that is the most important on the console and make it smaller. You know what? All of a sudden, emulators on a sideloading emulators on your phone seems like a really good idea compared to buying a brand new console. Holy smokes. Or maybe this is the way to go. Framework has announced their new laptop 16 now has an option for a GeForce RTX 5070. So their gaming capable laptop now has an NVIDIA option. Huzzah. Now, unfortunately, the option is like an $800 option. And it is and keep in mind, the Framework laptop is fully modular. So if the GPU does die, it is a trivial matter to swap out the GPU. Like, you don't have to be some kind of tech repair wizard like me. Anyone can do it. Literally anyone. To which I say, good. Huzzah. So, someone in chat asked, you know what they should put in the digital edition, an 800 terabyte SSD. There is not an 800 terabyte SSD in existence. What they should put in the digital edition is a 2 terabyte SSD, because it is not that expensive to get a 2 terabyte SSD. It just isn't. The price is almost the exact same as a 1 terabyte. Meanwhile, though, in the gaming world, as consoles go up in price, games go up in price, everything becomes more and more expensive. Nvidia goes ahead and makes PC gaming infinitely more expensive, to the point where we have to go ahead and scrapyard wars our way a gaming PC together. One of the most anticipated indie games in the world went ahead and said, hey, we made a game. You've been looking forward to it. It's hard, but we're going to go ahead and be gentle to you in one regards. We're going to keep the price at $20. Hollow Knight Silk Song is out, and they said, yeah, we're going to charge $20 for it because we feel that's what it's worth. I could not stress enough how pissed other developers are at the fact that that the team behind Hollow Knight, it's like, what are they, Cherry Team or whatever, Team Cherry or something like that, that they decided we're gonna go ahead and do this. And you know how they were, you want to know how they were rewarded? Team Cherry, that's what it is. 1.2 million sales and a launch day so strong that it crashed every single digital store. It crashed the Switch store. It crashed the PlayStation store. It crashed the Xbox store. It crashed Steam. On Steam alone, on launch day, there were 500,000 players on day one during one specific snapshot. Someone asked, did it crash? Sure, why not? It crashed them all. In a world that says that you have to go ahead and sell a game for $60 to $80, people have to remember something important. There's two sides of the number that determine how much money you make. There's the price you charge and the amount sold. You lower this one goes up. You increase this one, the smaller this one gets. It is a balancing act. And keep in mind, the amount of microtransactions you inject and the amount of respect you treat your customers also directly affects the demand of your game. Developers are angry at Team Cherry for selling their game for so cheap. Good. It just says a lot more about your studio, doesn't it? It says a lot more about you, that you go ahead and say that you need to charge way more for your game. So I'll say this much. I will pay what I feel is appropriate. I'll tell you what right now. Borderlands 4 is an $80 game. I've played every Borderlands to date. I'm not going to buy Borderlands 4. You want to know why I'm not going to buy Borderlands 4? It's not a compelling game. So far, everything I've seen of Borderlands 4 does not make me feel it's an $80 game. It makes me feel it's a $60 game, maybe a $50 game, especially with the fact that they're not telling us much of anything about the game. I've heard more and more about, oh my God, look at all the DLC that's coming out later on. Who the frick cares? How does all the DLC I have to pay for later on make your $80 game worth it now? I didn't think you could disappoint me more after Borderlands 3. You somehow did it by trying to up-pitch your DLC before the game. You managed to go ahead and set the bar low before your game hit the shelves. Impressive. Not gonna lie. Very, very impressive. All right, we're gonna rapid fire through the rest of this because we've got to close up shop very soon. First up, Valve has trademarked the name Steam Frame. We don't know much of what it means yet. A lot of speculation is that this could be a desktop Steam Deck, but right now we just simply do not know. In other news, Valve is also working on an update to the performance monitor that reports more accurate GPU utilization so that you too can go ahead and see exactly what is being restricted on your GPU, and you can try and give that to someone who knows more than you to try and see, hey, you're fine in your GPU right now. We can see all its utilization is fine, but over here, you're capped out on RAM. Add more RAM, you're gonna have a better gaming experience. To which I say, good job, Valve, A+. And also so we can use that information and shove it in NVIDIA's face. They say 8 gigabytes is enough. We'll cover this one real quick. The iPhone 17. We're expecting it in a couple of days. In fact, next week we're gonna be talking all about the iPhone 17. We don't know a whole lot about, well, we have some speculation. Upgraded specs, new look at the UI, upgraded cameras, a different design on the back finally, some new colors. We don't know all the details just yet, a lot of speculation. We'll cover that more next week. And then finally, I'm going to give you right away the last burb, the last story of the day, the weirdest story of the week. Someone in chat asked, can we not talk about the iPhone? No, we literally can't. I bring you the last burb, the last story of the day, the weirdest story of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, another episode of Can It Run Doom? The answer is yes. This charging dock, the Anchor Prime charging station that charges up to 4 laptops via USB-C someone has hacked the software on the Anchor charging station to get it to play Doom. Because if there's one thing we know that is inevitable, it is death, taxes, and yes, it does play the original Doom. Your charging station, Doom. Your refrigerator, Doom. Your alarm clock, Doom. This empty soda can, Doom. Somehow it can all run Doom. Folks, that is going to do it for this episode of Eagle Eyes on Tech. Thank you so much for listening, and I do encourage you to check out my other works at youtube.com/EagleFalcon and twitch.tv/EagleFalcon. Again, I apologize for not being around for several weeks. It's been very stressful, but we're back now, and hopefully it will stay that way. Take care, and I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye. You know, I unfortunately already looked up and wanted to see if my lottery numbers won. Unfortunately, it didn't, which is a shame because I absolutely would have spent some of that lottery money to have gotten one of those mister projecting machines. You know, the things that put out like a very fine mist and then project an image directly into the mist, so you just have like a floating screen. I totally would have done that just to go ahead and say, I've done it. I can now play Doom on the cloud. For my next trick, I will go ahead and get Doom to play on this burnt out light bulb that almost burned down my house. Actually, maybe I should just throw this out. Yeah, that'd be wiser.